All right, testing, 1, 2, 3. What's going on, fellow rogues? It's Mass Mayor here, and welcome in for the final episode for the Alice in Wonderland DLC for Powerwash Simulator. So, the reason I'm kind of playing this today instead of this coming up Wednesday rogues is because this past week, last Wednesday, originally I was gonna go and try to finish up the DLC for this, then between doing the Mad Hatter's tea party or whatever. I mean, there was not really a party, no one was there, but I was gonna do that one, and then the final level, which I kept saying I was pretty sure it was gonna be like something for the Queen of Hearts castle, which it ended up being that. So, but I kind of it was a bit of an undertaking, between to the point where I honestly, spent more time on the tea party episode than I thought I was going to, which resulted in me not even doing my Chrono Trigger stream that day, waiting until Thursday to do it, next day to do it, and then decided I was just gonna wrap this up for Sunday because I wanted to do the Alice Adventures, DLC. I want to finish that up because the next DLC I'm gonna be doing is the final episode for the Muckham Files. The devs of Power Simulator, I think, actually, from what I could see, it seemed like they were actually really, they were kind of hitting the point home that Muckham Files 6 is probably gonna be the last DLC drop they're doing for the game. I guess what that means is moving forward they're gonna be shifting focus entirely 100% to Power Simulator 2. So, yeah, next week, we're going to be jumping into the Muckham Files 6, and that's going to kind of give me, a bit of a chance to go ahead and, get the next DLC purchase, because I don't have all of it yet, out of the ones I'm wanting to do, because, again, I've been trying to, figure things out. I know I eventually want to get back to the Final Fantasy DLC, but I've been debating on waiting on that, even if Power Simulator 2 is already out by the time I do this one, because I still need to do Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I've never, played, I never beat any Final Fantasy game. And I think I've heard there's supposed to be some spoilers, for this. So that's the reason I'm kind of waiting on doing that. And I've been kind of on the fence of doing the SpongeBob SquarePants stuff because I haven't really watched a whole lot of SpongeBob SquarePants. Only maybe a few episodes in all the time it's been around. Because I've never really had a huge amount of interest in it, but yet never really any kind of distaste for it. I mean, there's been some times I kind of got in on some joke mocking the show, but it's not like I've ever actually really had any sense of malice or hate towards the show. It's just never really been entirely my cup of tea per se. I feel like it's one maybe I should give more of a chance to. I've been considering doing that one, but I haven't decided yet. Back to the Future, I'm definitely going to be doing that. I do need to get, with Shrek, I need to get caught up on the movies. And I have also been considering doing Wallace and Gromit. Even though I'm not really, I'm probably less versed on that. Like I have everything here. Like I'm probably like, you know, the only thing I'm probably like, you know, less versed on the walls and Grommet is probably Warhammer, which I'm not gonna be doing that one because I don't really know anything about, you know, Warhammer. I was considering at times because, you know, Elgin Ox, I know he likes it, but I don't think I'm gonna really be bothering with the Warhammer DLC. If I do, it'll probably just be like maybe like an offline thing, just for the sake of like chasing, like, you know, going for achievements or just seeing what it's like if I decide to buy it. But yeah, so for today, we're gonna be closing out Alice's Adventures. As you guys can see here, we are on, you know, the Queen of Hearts Court. And there's not gonna be any multiplayer today. We did Gmod yesterday, and that's one reason I'm doing this today, because we're actually gonna be, me and my friends, we're gonna be focusing on just doing like, you know, some watches of movies on Discord. Like we're gonna be watching the Minecraft movie and probably like some hilariously bad, like, you know, horror. We actually checked out Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey last night, and it was bad, but it was definitely like one of those so bad it's good movies where we just like were right there, you know. I enjoyed it. It's not that, like, I'm not hating on it to hate on it or whatever. I'm saying it's like I really love It's So Bad It's Good style movies, and I've got the second one too, so I can't wait to actually watch that. It's just really interesting, just like seeing, like, if y'all haven't seen Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, I'd suggest it. Obviously, you go in very low expectations, but also just go in just ready to laugh. I mean, I absolutely did enjoy the movie regardless. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and like and do this last episode for this, or last mission, job, whatever, and hope I can keep my head attached to my shoulders. Okay, I read this last time, but since it's a shorter one, I'll do it again. I think I read it, but why is it do we want to do that? Wherever I go, everybody suddenly loses their head. Me, I'm the reason, so I suggest you get to it at once, whatever it is. Be quick about it. As soon as we apprehend this Alice absconder, we'll be needing a quick and thorough trial. Well, I get a feeling like, you know, her, someone like, you know, could, just, I'm like, just knock on her door, just go visit, and she's head off with her head just for, like, you know, disturbing her nap or something. All right. So, anyways, so I reiterate, I really am hoping I'm not actually, you know, about to try to clean up a crime scene here, like specifically with this. I'm hoping it's just paint or something, because it looks pretty sus. But I'm having a feeling this is probably gonna end up being like one of the more beautiful spots. Like, you know, all the maps so far for the DLC have been great. This has probably been my favorite DLC for the game so far. So we're you know, test that properly now. You can't really spray the cat. Like, I don't know if it did that because I sprayed it, but I know it's lap before. I know Chester's lap before. But anyways, I guess we can start up here. Come on, chop, chop. You chop, yeah, you know, you can just keep that chopping to yourself, lady. That ain't happening. You know, I mean, I'll shoot that axe and make, you know, make it rust. You barely done anything at all? I just got started. Oh, she's gonna be one of those types. Chop, chop. No, we are not going that way. Barely done anything at all. Like, I literally just started the job. I can understand, like, if I, like, you know, been at this for hours. Like, I ain't barely started, you know, she's already talking about chopping off my head. I mean, I saw the implications there. We know, like, you know, what chopping means to her. I'm pretty sure, you know, it's not like, you know, prepping a steak, you know, for the grill. Or a salad. I mean, she's got plenty of greens out here, but I digress. I digress. Okay, we went from the T-puns, like, you know, the last episode, you know, now we're just... You know, we're going, like, with garden jokes. I mean, what can I say? I guess I'm a little horticultured at, you know, bad jokes. Alright. So this one might actually go fairly quick. I'm not entirely sure. I feel like it may actually be shorter than the rabbits thing. Not rabbits. The tea party. But I am really interested to see, like, how this is gonna look once it's done. I mean, I always am, because the devs, like, put so much, you know, attention to detail, like, you know, in the dirt and the daintiness afterwards. So I'm just really interested, I guess, because, like, you know, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like a whole bunch of whites and reds, and again, that's my channel colors. I guess like kind of like, you know, the sort of, I guess, coat of arms of my channel to an extent. Makes any sense? What all parts of this is there? There's a guy climb up there, or... Alright, got it. There's a little bit left on this. So I'm gonna have to watch with, like, you know, because if there's any parts out here where like the bushes are covering anything up, really pay attention to that. Yeah, it definitely does. And it definitely, like, is one of those games that kind of, like, really makes you appreciate, like, the graphics, appreciate, like, you know, the art that goes into it, because you literally are, like, right there looking at everything up close. So kind of, like, it forces you to, kind of, like, you know, pay attention to the details. That's the reason why I really can't wait for the next one, because I'm hoping, like, with all the money the devs, like, bought in from, like, the success of this one, that definitely means they could, like, you know, do a lot more stuff with, like, the graphics, and maybe, like, you know, hope, like, possibly, like, you know, improve, like, you know, the team. You know, like, hire new people and everything. Because the thing is, like, the fact that they already did, like, so well with this one, I just keep, like, thinking, like, what they could do, like, now that they probably got, like, even more of an income from this. You know, let's be real. We know the devs made bank. No doubt about it. You know, this wasn't a wash-up, pun intended. You know, this was, like, it's definitely, you know, got them some moolah in. So, it's going to be interesting to see, like, what all new mechanics they bring in, if it has, like, a fresh coat of paint or water or whatever. But I also just like the attention to this, where, like, how the bridge actually has, like, you know, little chess pieces, like, for the railings. That's, or like the I guess or the entrance, not really the railing. I mean, it's part of the railing. All right. So this already is looking amazing. Just a little bit right here. Let's see. Yeah, right there. Like, once we really kind of, like, start getting out there, like, you know, I think it's gonna start going much quicker. All right. So I'm trying to, like catch every bit of this bridge here or whatever. Actually, I'm not really a fan, like, whenever I have to clean, like, a bridge style thing or whatever. But again, I mean, it could be worse. We could be dealing with anytime I feel like, you know, I'm complaining about something, like a particular thing I'm trying to clean or whatever, I just tell myself, at least it's not the gnome garden. Which, again, as I reiterate, the gnome garden, or the gnome fountain or whatever, gnome fountain, garden, whatever, it wouldn't have been that bad if I would have had access to, like, the most strong washer. The thing is, they put me in there with one that, because the thing is, the lower level washers, of course, like, you know, they don't clean as well. So, like, that's the reason, like, a lot of stuff, like, gets stuck on more. So, basically, this thing right here is basically like an end-all be-all for, like, you know, pretty much cleaning everything. It's like the most powerful, like, nozzle in the game, I think. But when it comes to actual washers, like, basically when you're having to use this one or whatever, like, use these or whatever, you got, like, less powerful washer. You guys can kind of, like, see, like, a little bit of difference there. Like, if I go like this one, like, you know, you have, like, less powerful ones. This right here, the strongest one, could basically end up having, like, the same effects as, like, you know, I see, like, it's taking a little bit more. With some things, like, you know, and some things it just won't come off at all. But this right here just completely just decimates dirt and all that. But that's what happened with the gnome fountain. Yeah, the gnome fountain. I had, like, a much less powerful washer, and they were putting me up against stuff that normally, if you really want to kind of get off immediately, you need, like, use soaps. And I don't think I used soap for the fountain. Like, I think there's only, like, a few jobs in this game where I've used soap on, just kind of hurry things along. You know, I was trying to think about, like, why they were bent over, and I forgot, like, you know, the whole croquet thing. They literally bent over backwards, you know, for their queen's, you know, hobbies. Okay, before we actually do that, before I actually go around and clean the cards up, I need to, like, stay focused on the bridge. As I don't see this, like, you know, being as long of a job as the Tea Party. And then I kind of got things mixed up. Like, people were saying that, like, this is probably, like, the longest DLC after the Shrek, when I was saying that people were saying this is actually longer than the Shrek DLC. And I actually got mixed up, like, looking at some Reddit, like, stuff. What people were saying, I kind of got things mixed up, is that the Shrek DLC, this is actually, like, they consider this the longest after the Shrek DLC, but a lot of people say this is their favorite. And I said, I definitely feel like I've been enjoying this more than the Shrek one. I mean, the Shrek one was good. I definitely love, like, you know, the scenery for the Shrek one. I mean, I think, like I said, my favorite, like, you know, locale there was probably, like, you know, Shrek's house. But for this one, I think, like I said, I think the Tea Party was definitely well up there. But I don't know. I mean, like, Rabbit's house kind of, you know, that one was really fun. I mean, all of them have been good. The only one I kind of, like, felt like I kind of got a little frustrated with was Caterpillars. Just because, like, you know, the one, you know, the mushroom itself, like, had all, like, you know, those different layers to it. Okay, I think there's only one railing. Okay, this one, yeah. Yeah, majority of this is definitely going to be, like, all that out there. We get that cleaned out. It's going to be a massive chunk of, like, the percentage right there. Yeah, and that's why I love, you know, how they basically tell story without you even actually ever really seeing any of the other characters. Like I said, it would be pretty cool if they, I mean, personally, what I'd love to see for Powerwash 2 is them have, like, open world thing. Like, you basically, like, you can explore Muckingham and go and take on jobs, like, you know, in different orders if you choose to. Basically, like, they'd be kind of like, you know, like quests, wherever you had, like, some main jobs you could do to further the story, but then you have, like, little side quests you could do, like, little smaller jobs that can get you, like, a little bit of, like, supplemental income to afford, like, other upgrades, everything, if you're, like, needing, like, a little bit extra cash. I think, because I really feel like this game could, like, really work as, like, an open world thing. Like, have, like, actual, you know, Muckingham with some NPCs that you can take jobs from. And they have, like, you know, they have, like a lot of quirkiness, too. Things like, obviously, Muckingham definitely has, like, its own quirky style. Like, literally, it's, you know, the whole concept behind it is, like, it basically, like, Muckingham, kind of like it seemed like it was a character in itself. You know, its own little, like, underlying story to it, and how, like, you have, like, all these characters that are, like, basically facing struggles and all that without you even ever seeing what they look like. And I think that's also the thing, too. Like, if you're doing multiplayer, and obviously I'm pretty sure me, you, Elginox, and if Mac's in for it, we'd probably all be, like, taking the same job together. But it'd be pretty cool if, like, what could happen is, say, you know, if you got, like, a group that basically wants to, like, split up, like, you know, teams of two, one group go after, like, one job and the other ones go after the other, and if, like, one group gets done with the job before the others do, they can go and, like, help them out with the remainder of the job. I think that would be, like, a pretty neat thing. Like, pretty much, you know, y'all can explore Muckingham at your leisure, and if, like, someone else, like, you know, hasn't done a job but they want to go back in and do it anyway, they can. Like, it doesn't necessarily lock them out if someone else goes and does a job before they do. Like, they can choose, like, you know, do it themselves afterwards. Cause that's, like, basically how this works, where, you know, you can go back and replay jobs you've already done, so. But again, like, I'm pretty sure, like, whatever the devs do, it's going to be amazing, you know, because, again, they did this, and this pretty much was just kind of like, you know, one of those, I guess, I don't know if I want to say sleeper hits. And it definitely wasn't a hidden gem. I mean, it caught on pretty quickly. But I feel like, you know, it's pretty much, you know, one of those things that now they've got more, like, since they've got notice, like, basically, you know, they've got, like, a high bar they got to set. But I'm pretty sure they're going to, like, you know, be able to set it, and I'm interested to see what they're going to do. My guess is they probably are. I'll get back to that in a second. My guess is they probably have already, like, you know, probably, like, are decently in development on the next game. Alright, we're about to get another lore thing here. I mean, who knows, like, how far in they are. See, now, I like how, like, that's what I was saying right there. This is one of those things where you didn't have to clean up that, like, we had, like, a good bit of gunk there, and it's still, like, just cleaned up a bit of it, and Because again, sometimes there's things where you have to, like, clean up, like, just about every speck just for them to consider it clean. But other ones, like, you clean up, like, a little bit of it. And then, that's it. You don't have to clean up the entirety. Yeah, I think that would be pretty awesome. Like, someone's going through the small jobs. It's kind of like you do that. I don't suppose you've seen a 2-mile high child, have you? How could you miss that? You're always looking down on, well, I guess because she's always looking down on others, so she probably wouldn't notice. Goes by the name of Alice. Last seen in this very spot, disrupting crucial legal proceedings with a sudden distasteful growth spurt. My guess is you were probably trying to cut her head off as she noped out. Lady, I'm more worried about the fact that I'm pretty much being accomplice to your crimes here. Like I said, I know I've seen some, I swear I've seen them that look like blood stains. I'm worried I'll become like a completely different type of cleaner, and that's like a whole other game I ain't played yet. Crime scene cleaner. And I really can't wait to dive into that one, which thankfully it's not going to probably be like too much longer once I get this other DLC. I probably got like maybe 1 or 2 more DLC I'm going to be doing. I mean, Back to the Future, probably Wallace and Gromit. I still got to do the Final Fantasy one eventually. And part of me is considering just going on and doing it, just getting out of the way. Looking it up, make sure it's not actual spoilers. I mean, I've been considering just going on and maybe doing it anyway, going to get it done. Because I don't know when I'm going to get around to doing Remake, because I got like so much else. I mean, I've been meaning to do Remake for a while now. Yeah, it's coming clean pretty quickly. It's not going to take me an insane amount of time to do this one. Definitely feels like this is probably shorter than the Tea Party. Now, the wall right here might... No, never mind. It looks like they're sectioned. Okay, yeah, so it's not one continuous wall, so it's not going to take that long. Against the foliage I got to watch out for. Okay, I'll just go and clean this one right here, and I'll go back to over there. Okay, let me go back around. Yeah, this ain't gonna take long at all. We're already I wouldn't say halfway done, of course, but I feel like I should just go and just try to work on the floor, and I'll also hit anything that's it's on it along the way. But yeah, I really am having high hopes for Powerwash Sim 2. But also another thing I think is kind of funny right here is the fact that some of the streams I've been talking about Pokemon cards. Now I'm actually cleaning cards. These aren't actual Pokemon cards, of course, but all right. Let's see which side's probably this side. Yep, there it is. All right. This place is going to look beautiful once it's done. I can already tell. It's going to look really nice. I mean, just about all of them do. Have, once you finish them. That's, what I've always loved about this game. Just, the attention to detail everything once it's clean. Now, they do just such a massive stark contrast. I mean, one really good example was, the Santa's Workshop seasonal DLC. That was one that really had, so many splashes of colors and everything after it was finished. I'm also love when you have areas that have lights to them. It seems once you clean everything up in a spot where there's lights that are covered in gunk, it seems like it slowly gets brighter. Oh, we could actually play croquet, it looks like. Okay, so you actually can play croquet here. I can see that being like fun, like, you know, a little bit like a distraction for people, like if we're doing multiplayer. Like we finish the map up, but then like, you know, like someone finishes the map and then they decide to like just start actually playing. I bet there might be an achievement for it. Which this is one I don't really I care too much about like chasing the achievements for this game. I mean, I know there's a bunch of them, but I know like when I was doing the Shrek's house one or wherever, how I got like, you know, somebody once told me I won just for like cleaning the outhouse door first. All right. Okay, we'll just focus entirely on the floor here, and then come back for the cards afterwards. Because again, I'm just trying to like, you know, stay focused on. I keep on shifting focus, but I really need to like stay focused on the biggest things here. I think it's gonna like knock, you know, off on the percentage the most. And again, like I'll be able to kind of clean stuff. I'll say the croquet, like the one thing I don't like about this, it doesn't even, cause I remember I think they actually use, like she used actual flamingos, if I remember correctly. At least in some of the media she does. That just looks like, I mean, I like the design of it, but kind of takes away from it, it's not actual flamingos. But I guess it must be like one of those, no animals were harmed and I'm making this cane thing. I mean, at least like cleaning the top of them. I like the shininess of them though. Okay, was it? Okay, never mind. All right, I thought because I was trying. Okay, I kept on seeing something else there that needed to be clean, but it was already done. Let's see. Is it all like okay? There's the garden floor here is like segmented. Yeah, these are the biggest parts of the map. I get these out of the way, like everything else will be like, you know, go much quicker. This is like probably gonna be like where most of the percentage is at. See, I'm telling you guys, like this is what I'm talking about. I am cleaning the scene of a crime here. That looks straight up like blood. She was talking about like a, you know, a 2 mile like tall child or whatever. And he's definitely like, you know, probably like, you know, I don't know if this is like the queen's heels, like the queen's shoes. But you expect to see like it's like a giant footprint somewhere. She's making it sound like, you know, Alice went on like a kaiju style rampage or whatever, but really it just looks like, you know, the place is just filthy. Or maybe like, you know, Alice like, you know, splashed like a massive blood puddle or blood. You know, now you guys see what I'm talking about. Like it's mud puddle, that's the word. Just get a few little residual bits here, and this one will be clean. Trying to find like a spot where there's like a that should do it. Okay, I'll come back for the cards in a bit. Let me go clean it, finish at this other side here. Okay, now see that's a pretty nice looking couch. Oh wait, you know I thought it was just gonna be clean this stuff off and it was gonna be white. This thing's red or pink. There's a whole different shade up under this. So what happened? Like, you know, the queen was like, you know, it's powder in her nose right there, and like, and Alice like went by, and I can just picture like, you know, one of the cards like was powder in the queen's nose. She sneezed, and then it just puffed everything up, and then immediately off with its head. You know, her ass was the one that had, like, you know, that sneezed. Either that, or like she was powder in her nose, and Alice grew or whatever, and like stomped or whatever, and caused like the entire like, you know, then go flying and just like douse her, you know, couch and powder. I'm kind of like a little bit sweaty, even though it's definitely not like as hot today as it, you know, it has been. I mean, because it just rained a bit ago. And when it was raining, I went outside and it was a nice breeze and everything. Kind of made me think of fall a little bit. Definitely can't wait for fall to come back around. I mean, I know, like, I don't know if summer's officially started yet. I've tried not to actually pay attention to. I mean, usually, like, I'll be, like, watching, like, calendars and, like, dates like a hawk or whatever for the start of fall or whatever. But summer, I try not to think about it because I'm just not really a fan of heat. I don't know. I mean, I've just always felt like more comfortable in, like, in cold weather. King of Hearts. I know she was married. Becoming 2 miles tall in the middle of a trial is really one of the rudest things you can do. Well, if they were trying to cut her head off or whatever, I mean, and if it was wrongful, I mean, probable cause. I would have put her on trial myself, but the knave had stolen a tray of tarts. I mean, my take on it is that, like, I keep on feeling like, obviously, like, the whole eat me, drink me thing or whatever is like, I wouldn't have put it out there for her. She probably wouldn't have touched it. That, as you know, is the absolute #1 rudest thing you can do. Anyway. Okay, let's just process. I don't know, like, the whole thing behind that. But, because, again, I'm not as most versed on Alice in Wonderland. Like, it's been a while since I've actually, really caught up on anything with it. But I look at it like this: when that child first, like, came to Wonderland, where she saw like a label, like a cake with a label of "Eat Me," and in a bottle, something to drink, with like the outright said "Drink Me," which obviously will put emphasis that maybe it was left there for her. So of course, like, chances are she's gonna get like her, like, her, and like that's gonna, like, give her like those kind of like that mindset where if she sees a tray of tarts or where she might assume it's for her. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how the hell Wonderland works. But it just seems to me like almost everything I'm seeing where they're blaming her for shit. They're blaming her for the fact that, that they're just like, completely off the walls with their rules, how Wonderland works, so on. And you literally got like, a guy who runs a tea party where, like, he puts like a little breakfast in the tea apparently. Celebrates, like, on birthdays. I don't know, man. If I went to Wonderland, I probably, like, need, like, food, something to eat and something to drink or whatever, just from the stress it put me under. Trying to figure out what's going on. And you go somewhere where, like, you got like a monarch, who's pretty much is just hell bent on, like, beheading you. Like, probably be so much to sneeze while she's talking. Alright, so the garden floor here is almost done. Trying to find, like, a nice chunk that I can hit. That should do it. Or not. There we go. All right, 45%. We're halfway done, or almost halfway. Speaking of eat me, as long as these things don't, like, pull a feed me, like little shop of horrors. The thing is, it eerily looks like an eye, like they're actually watching you. Wait, hold on a second. Again, I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm cleaned up here or whatever, because, I mean, all this red's very sus. It's like we went from Powerwash Simulator to the, like, Visceral Cleanup Detail or whatever. Which I never actually played that series. I got the games where I never actually played it. But it just seems right, like, here, they just kind of, like, just try to toy around with, like, what random, like, ways they could, like, dirty the place up, but have, like, most off-the-wall colors. Like, we're cleaning up something white and make something green, when normally, like, we're cleaning up something brown, like, it's covered in brown. Or, like, or other, like, yucky hues, just to, like, make something brighter. It makes you wonder if is it white paint or it's just like doing the most unexpected colors, like beneath everything. Oops. Right. So I might be putting them out of the job here and have all this mortal coil. That shows right there, Rogues, how much I need to brush up on Alice in Wonderland, because I remember that now. I forgot that they actually painted the roses. So I wonder if she's gonna comment on it. But yeah, like I said, I figured this was gonna be like a quicker job. It's going by pretty a nice pace. But I'm really digging all the colors here so far. All right. And again, I like how this is one of the ones where I am, what's helping is I am getting like a little bit of leeway with the stuff I'm cleaning. Again, you don't have to clean up as much of it as like some of the other places. Some of the other, locales. Yeah, let's see what I'm talking about here in just a second. I'm just keep cleaning this fence. You guys understand all this is still on the fence, but then all that right there. See, I didn't have to there's still a good bit left or wherever, and just automatically counted as clean. Alright. I also kind of use this as a vantage point, make sure I got the others. Let's see. Alright. That one's good. That's good. That's good. It seems like most of that's actually cleaned. Alright, so that one's alright, so those roses I think are pretty much done. Just about got it. All right, clean up the stem. And there's a little bit of the wall right there I missed too. I'll take care of the stem. All right, is that all the? I think I saw a little small speck. There was something I swear it showed a little bit in a very small amount. I wasn't quite finished with it. Yeah, but it might have been something else over there. Well, you guys know how this works. If I didn't get it, I'll come back to it. All right. So for the most part, this area looks pretty much clean. Just hold up. That might have been what I accidentally. I bet you it's up here That's what I thought. Yep. This is ours. Maybe. I got that one. I get the edging. Hmm? Seeing the edging right here. Okay, it goes all the way around here. Okay, never mind. What was going on? Okay, this should do it. Okay, yes, it went all the way around. Yeah, definitely. That's what I was like, just saying a bit ago, Jeremy. But yeah, welcome in. Yeah, it pretty much makes you it pretty much puts you right there on the attention to detail. Or like basically since you're like right there like cleaning every single bit of it, so you definitely do get to appreciate like the design. Now that is what I'm curious about that, seeing how that's gonna look. Okay, before we continue onwards, let's go ahead and like just kind of. Yeah, this is also going like a lot easier than the Tea Party one did. I guess also because I'm not like doing a whole bunch of climbing here. That was one thing as well. Here, the most I've climbed is like is the roses. But it seems like it's about like evened out. See, even now she's looking down. Even her statue's looking down on me. Like a big ass birthday cake or something, or wedding cake. I mean, at least she's not going like like boa Hancock. Okay, the queen's kind of thick. Kind of like. Oh, never mind. That's the dress. I was about to say the queen's kind of thick though, but. I was about to say speaking of cake, but we're not going that route. But no. Anyways, at least she's not like Boa Hancock from One Piece. Like she's looking down on me looking down on me so much she's looking up. Which I still don't know exactly how that works, but yeah, for those who, yeah, it's like a Boa Hancock looking down on people. See what I'm talking about? Like she literally like looks down on people so much that she'll look straight up. Like she'll tilt her head back, tilt her back or whatever, and then point up at the air, or like she'll point towards them, but then have her it's hilarious every time she does it. All right. It's literally like, well, it looks like even her statue's throwing a tantrum. I'm just convinced that if if the Queen of Hearts had a Pokemon, her main Pokemon would definitely be Jigglypuff. Just as literally the whole thing with like Jigglypuff in the anime, it's like you fall asleep with her, and she's gonna she gets offended. Basically, the most simple thing where she sings, puts people to sleep, and then gets mad at them for falling asleep, and then writes on their face. Like has to be the center of attention, and then when everyone falls asleep or whatever, it's basically she forces them to pretty much just not pay attention to her in the end. Then afterwards, she blames them. But you got this one right here. Like seriously, trying to think of a pun for it or whatever. I kind of feel like like a fly would fall into her tea and everything, But then, like, she's off with the head of the teacup or whatever for letting the fly, land in the cup in the first place. I don't know. Or she blamed the person who made the tea because they made it too sweet and it attracted the fly. Like, put too much sugar in it. Yeah, that works better. What episode? Episode of... Nevertheless, when someone grows to a prodigious size in the middle of a... Nevertheless, when someone grows to a prodigious size in the middle of a trial, it's extremely important that you exert your authority. She exerts it even when nothing's going on. Oh, yeah, right. Even your Imperial Guard are, in essence, a set of gossamer thin playing cards. Again, like, your wife, like, asserts her authority, exerts it. I was hoping that we could perhaps apply the handcuffs while she were distracted by a quality slave hand trick. Alright, Gambit. I guess exert makes sense, not assert, because assert means you basically telling everyone, like, telling everyone, how much of a big deal you are. Like, the queen, she just shows up and everyone knows. Literally, just her presence or whatever is gonna, like, make someone, like, like put on a turtleneck sweater. Not like it's gonna do anything, but... But again, like, that's, like, he's talking about, like, you have to exert your authority or whatever. Like, literally just her breathing or whatever is, like, her exerting her authority. Because God forbid, like, you do, like, anything or whatever she don't like or whatever, your old head's coming off, most likely. And she goes on social media, does a pose. No one likes it. Off with their heads. She asked for a ham and cheese. She asked for like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You don't like take that crust off? Off with their heads. I mean, because my thing is, like, Dr. Doom has one of the most, the biggest, like, hate boners for Reed Richards, where it's just, like, pure pettiness or whatever. So, that's like, a man, like, pretty much, hating, like, another man's existence and everything, just because, he doesn't like Reed or whatever. But the Queen of Hearts, I think, kind of ones up Doom or whatever, just because of the fact that she basically just, like, just pretty much finds a reason to be petty just because other people exist. If, like, you exist and she don't like you or whatever, she'll find a reason to be petty and, like, want your head cut off. That's my understanding of it. I mean, yeah, like, like Doom literally, like, was like, I think, like, pretty much, destroyed a whole dimension just because in that dimension him and Reed were friends. I mean, that's like a very much godly level of pettiness right there. I mean, but also we're talking about the fact this is the same guy, I think, who delivered, like, Sue and Reed and Sue's baby. Like, basically delivered their baby just to have, like, basically just so that he can, like, have, like, basically name the child, or basically be like, or I can't remember, like, I think all the details, but I think, like, one of the reasons why, Doom delivered the child was just, I think, for the sake of, like, being able to name it. But also, I think, just because the fact that Reed was gonna have to, like, deal with the fact that Doom was that Doom was the baby's godfather. I think it was even to the point, like, where Doom would, like, go to Liberia or whatever, or like, I can't remember, I keep forgetting, like, the daughter's name. But, like, she'd go and, like, visit Doom. And then, like, and pretty much I think that's, like, when, like, Stu and Reed, like, came to pick her up or whatever. I believe it was to the point where she'd address Sue as mom, but I think it would actually address, Reed as Reed. I think that's what happened. I can't remember, but it's still hard to kind of, like, tell me. I don't think, like, really too many people can beat Doom's pettiness, but Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I think that's definitely like a, very high bar for pettiness with him. But that's a whole can of worms we're not going to crack open. Let's see if it does it. Here we go. Well, the dings didn't come in like really quickly. Yeah, the rabbit statue's taken. I gotta make sure I get the other one. I figured I didn't get that one because I was like seeing how much this one's like take a little more extra bit shine to clean. I do like these decorations though. It kind of gives me like some like it makes me feel like there was like a duelist on Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever that actually had like an Alice in Wonderland theme. Like this actually would be like a form of dual disc they use in some capacity. It makes me think like a dual disc for some reason. Okay, I want to try. I just did like that random sweep. I didn't actually realize I just did that for the heck of it. It's kind of saying done or whatever. I didn't realize I still need to clean that. That was accidental. That was coincidental and accidental. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and go back and get these rest of these cards. And like just scan through each card. Yeah, this one right here. Yeah, I think I've already got most of the cards taken care of. All right. Yeah, I think that's all the cards. Yeah, I'm digging this. I like this. Okay, let's go ahead and finish the wall. Speaking of cards, I really can't wait to to be able to do another Pokemon card unboxing. Because realistically, what I really would like to do, since I still got like the Destined Rivals binder coming in, I really would like to hopefully get my hands on an ETB and a booster bundle. And that probably would be like maybe like the last, maybe more likely the last of what I do for like Destined Rivals on stream. So I'm hoping I can actually score that Mewtwo during that. But it's kind of funny because after I did like the stream the other day for Destined Rivals, because I was talking about how like the Misty Psyduck was one of my chase cards, and I got the Kangaskhan. I just kind of think it's funny that someone had sent me where they got a booster bundle. They sent me like pictures of it, and they got the Cynthia's Garchomp, which because I got like the Ethan's Ho-Oh, the special illustration rares, as well as two other versions. There's only like one version of Ethan's Ho-Oh I don't have now, but I got the special illustration rare, which I think is it's the third most expensive pricey card from the set, or third most sought after. And she got the Cynthia's Garchomp, which is like the second most wanted one, like only I think like second only I think like to the Giovanni's Mewtwo special illustration rare, which of course is my top card, not because of value, but because like again, I love Mewtwo. But yeah, she got like the Cynthia's Garchomp. I don't know if that was one of her chase cards, but she got the Cynthia's side. She got the Misty Psyduck. But at the same time, like I said, I couldn't really because really the Psyduck probably was like the one I wanted more than the Kangaskhan. But it's kind of like she got like one of the top 3 special illustration rares, and she got my chase. Like she got one of my chases, and then I did the Ethan's Ho, and then I got like the Ethan's Ho, which wasn't one of my chase cards, special illustration rares, but I got the Kangaskhan. But otherwise, she got like some of the same ones I got. Like she got like the same Nidoking I got, and she got like I think like a few other ones that I got as well. But it definitely seems like it's been like a set that's had like some decent pulls with it. But either way, as it was shown like during the stream, I was just happy for everything I was getting. And again, it was like definitely like one of the most best booster boxes I've had, because like just me not starting off with like 0 cards for the set. There's some Japanese ones I picked up on vacation. I pretty much, by the time I was done for the base set, I only need like 10 cards left. So it pretty much was like there was definitely dupes, but it was like as far as like the base cards were. But compared like what happened with 151 when I wanted that Hitmonlee, and it took me like a while to get it, and I definitely like came away with like not like a whole bunch of other cards. It was just basically in the sense of it was one of those sets I did where I just from the first booster box, like there's been times I've gotten 2 booster boxes, and that's what got me like probably only about like 10 or so cards away. But that yeah, the Destined Rivals box I got was pretty loaded. But the fact that I came away like only need like I think like every single card I still need. I think all of them were special, were not illustration, but I think were full arts. Because I looked at it and I think I pretty much that one box gave me every common, every uncommon, and I think it gave me like all of like the and it gave me like all of like the normal rares, like the non-full art rares, and it only like left me with like 10 full arts I still need. I really do think like when I looked up, I think it's gonna probably be like less than like about 15 or less, for me to like get those cards. So part of me is considering like going on just trying to get them, so that way But I mean, also at the same time, I also just want to wait till after I get if I can get my hands on ETB and a booster bundle. I want to wait until after. After that, then I'll order like the remaining singles I need. And it would be pretty cool, like to But also, there's a part of me that was like saying that if I actually could do like ETB and like a booster bundle on stream, it would be cool, like to wait until like I get like my special edition binder from Baldex until that comes in, and maybe like try to complete the set on stream. But we'll see how it goes. At the very least, I would like to at least like wait until like I get the binder, like to do the unboxing if I can't get my hands on all that. I know like Valdex said they're gonna be like shipping out the binders. I think like by the end of June. All right, the stem or the base. Saying the stem. Oh, the base. Never mind. I got a little mixed up. And from here, we just got clean up. Yeah, I don't think there's really gonna be like a whole lot we missed this time. This is like actually, a pretty small map. I'm gonna laugh if I go up here and this will be like one of those I don't really have to backtrack that much because I actually somehow got everything. But I know there's definitely gonna be like something I probably missed. I always do have something I missed. But it comes down to it's little like something I haven't cleaned yet or something I haven't like done over here. That'd be pretty neat. But I'm pretty sure I probably missed something. I said I always do. However, no sooner had my soldier guards hitched a ride on Alice than their entire countenance changed. To a man, they clambered onto her shoulders. To a man, they clambered onto their shoulders, blew the most outrageous raspberries down upon me, and directed her off into the distance. I mean, y'all got basically a kaiju. So, what thought I? Let his instantaneous and treacherous about turn. We had like a giant, Then it dawned on me. Yeah, she turned into a kaiju. I don't think like they really like they were like going with what they knew was the winning side. I had forgotten to remove the jokers. Okay, let's see. There's that. And also, before we finish this last little percentage rogues, I'm gonna like take a quick break, and I'll be right back. Alright, guys. Yeah, I just want to, like, I was trying to, like, just get one thing kind of, like, just taken care of, like, in advance, like, for the movie day. We're going to be starting up on Discord, and, like, as soon as I finish the stream. Just making, like, quick preparation for that. Alright. So, anyways. Yeah, her little, like, literally her court. The fact that she actually takes it seriously, it's like, normally it's supposed to be, like, Queen's Court, where she literally has an actual courtroom out here. But again, digging the design. They have, like, a pretty, like, a solid way, like, to close out this DLC. It's gonna be on top of this one right here. Alright. Alright. Okay, that looks dumb. Okay. I just imagine, like, Phoenix Wright trying to, like, run being involved in a case out here. Alright. Let's finish cleaning the floor up. Okay, I'm really, like, digging the artwork on that. The design on that. That's really cool. Alright. All right, yeah, the core floor is segmented. Okay, so it's not all one thing. I love how the stairs are dominoes. Okay, now I see what. Okay, yeah. So literally, the dominoes. But okay, that's really neat. That's cool how they did that. Okay, got some edges right here to. Okay, so apparently the edge right there. Okay, yeah. So the edge, that's where they were tricking me. We gotta make sure we watch it with this one. We'll get that first. See, I thought like this right here was like segmented too, but yeah, it's all like, yeah. Because sometimes like when they have like a little thing right there, will be like an edge, or they have like a border to it or whatever. This way, going like have that out of the way. Okay, it looks pretty clean. Yeah, just a little more rogues, and we'll be fine, and we'll be done with the DLC. And like I said, and then this coming up Wednesday, I'll be working through the Muckingham files, part 6. Which is only like 2 jobs to it, but I don't know how big they're going to be. I think one's supposed to be a subway, and I believe one is supposed to be like, can't remember what the other one's called. I'll look at it like right after we finish this up. Sure, we got this out here going. Yeah. All right, get this flag. All right. I don't care what anyone says. That's blood. I don't care what anyone says. They've had a recent beheading on this stage. I don't care what anyone tries to tell me. That's what I thought. Okay. Just about there. All right. A little bit up here too. Well, that was quick. I'll take it. It hasn't quite hit like 99 yet. I don't know. I don't think we're going to quite get 99 from that. So are we missing something out here? I don't know. Maybe it actually... Again, it is a smaller map, so... I can't remember if they do it like purely by like, you know, percentage of like things cleaned, or if they do it by combination of that and amount of gunk. Like you clean from certain from things. And now it's 98. And then we may get 99 from this. But I know I've definitely probably missed something out there. Oh yeah, it's at 99. Okay, so we are almost done. I thought I got that Domino's thing done, finished too. All right. Might need a ladder real quick. That's like a prompt right there for something, but it's not. Oh yeah. Okay, so looks like everything's mostly cleaned up here, around here. Okay, I swear I thought that was like giving someone the finger right there. While I'm at it, like while I'm like kind of like just let me just kind of like check something out real quick. So yeah, before I forget, for Mugham File 6 or whatever, it's gonna be like the yeah, subway train and sculpture park. Yeah, I thought it was I remember it was being like a art park or something. Court door handles. Okay, might just be the handles we need. All right, so let's see, get that. All right, that's one handle. And then I guess we missed like How many others? Another. All right, let's just go and just get this over with. All right. Court door hinges. Jeez. Engines door handles. Let me just get this over with. All right, entrance door. There it is. All right, that one right there. Okay, now we got like, how much more is there to do? Garden floor edging. So there's like several edgings then. Probably this one. No, it must be this one. Yeah. That's easy. All right, garden walls. I thought I was being pretty thorough in cleaning these. I suppose not. Oh, wow. Okay, I thought that was like... That's just part of the... Okay, never mind. There it is. Oof. All right, lampposts. All right, right there. Queen Heart statue rabbits. I thought for sure I got these. I definitely was slipping a little bit today. Okay, and we are done. All right, guys. And yeah, and again, this one was visually striking. I love it. I love how it looked in the end. There's a whole bunch of different colors and everything. Of course, it didn't have the whole white and red like I thought as much I thought it was going to. I thought the cards were gonna have I like the card backgrounds are very psychedelic. White rabbit. Oh my, that's quite the transformation. I'm sure the queen won't completely hate it. Although one second on things thought, based on the color of her cheeks as she stormed off and the color of those roses now, maybe not. I don't suppose it had crossed her mind their adorable red roses were painted on. Yep, that whole thing about probably putting a lot of the cards out of the job and now all this mortal coil, I think it came true. Discretion is often the better half of valor, so I'd sharpest before they abandon their ridiculous hunt for Alice. Hurry, back up in the rabbit hole for you, my friend. All right, and we are done with this DLC. All right, Rogues, so... Oh... Grounded 2. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely happy. I'm on board for that, totally. All right. So Grounded 2, yeah, we're definitely be playing that eventually, guys. That's some really good news to hear in the chat. Yeah, so you guys know what me, Emerald 17, Elder John Knox, and others will be playing. I'm just hoping actually it'll be it'd be more than 4 people, so we can actually have a full basically the full group. Yeah, but anyways, guys, so I just finished up the Alice's Adventures DLC. Next week for Wednesday we'll be doing the final episode for Muckham Files, which is also the final DLC chronologically for this. But it's not gonna be the end of the Powerwash stuff because once I finish up Muckham Files 6, I'll be getting onto the Back in the Future DLC once I get that. And like I said, at the very least, I want to do the Wallace and Gromit one alongside it, and probably go ahead and maybe finish up the Final Fantasy DLC. And I said I was gonna wait on it, try to avoid spoilers for the game, but just go and just get it out of the way. But nonetheless, for those on the Discord who are interested in the movie, we're gonna be watching a few movies a day. We're gonna be watching Minecraft, which it's me, Emerald 17, and Rocket. I just saw that while I was on vacation, hanging out at their house. Last month. Now it's last month since it's June now. But we're definitely gonna be watching again since the beginning of D43 hasn't seen it. I don't know if Elginox has or not, but it's gonna be fun. Getting Mac in on it. See what his take on the movie is, and also we're gonna be hopefully watching some cheesy horror movies. During the day as well. So anyways, next stream is going to be tomorrow for next episode of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu as I go ahead and start, my post-game stuff for trying to complete, to get a living Kanto dex, which is going to be done with a mix of, my Pokemon that I borrowed from Pokemon Go, as well as like going out and actually hunting Pokemon on the field. I don't really want to say hunting, I'll just say catching. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed the stream, definitely appreciate if you like, comment, and share. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, I appreciate that also, since we are coming up on 1,000 subscribers on here. And of course, Discord server is an option for you guys to join as well if you want to. But anyways, next stream will be tomorrow for more Pokemon. But until then, much love. Thanks for coming out and hanging out, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. Thanks for watching.